Bump Love is brought to you by
Unlimited internet at unbeatable prices. Dial *125# to activate your monthly unlimited internet. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Hello and welcome to Bump Love. For those of you that have subscribed to our YouTube channel, we thank you. Those that haven't, please do. I think we've normalized this. We agreed that we normalize subscribing to the channel. Yes, thank you. You'll thank us later when you do, because you don't want to miss out on our episodes, on our content on motherhood, parenting, and navigating life as a woman. As you see today, we have a beautiful guest. She is called the pretty brainy wife, Joy Kezia. We're so glad to have you. Yeah. So excited to have you. But before we go to her, I think you can agree that we look amazing today. My hair is by Zuri Luxury. Our face bits are shades of beauty. Our shoes, ladies, show off your shoes, because man, the shoe puzzle has got us sorted. Our beautiful outfits are by Fashion Episode. Check them out on their socials, their Instagrams. You will not be disappointed. Now, Kezia is navigating life and love in a long-distance relationship. She's married with 2 children. But before we get to her, ladies, I would want us to discuss. Let us know if you've been in a long-distance relationship before. How did you do it? Yeah?
So, until yesterday afternoon, I was like, I've not been in a long distance relationship. Then I was like, wait.
You have?
Yes.
No chance.
I have.
Wow.
For a hot minute.
A hot minute?
Yes. Like, I dated a guy, the relationship was quite short. I dated a guy he's Kenyan. He lived in Kenya. I was in Uganda at the time. And yeah.
Shout out to our Kenyan people.
Man.
All the way to the +254.
I know, right? So yes, I think I just started working, shortly before I started working at NTV. This guy really liked me. We were in school together, in high school together. He really liked me, but I was not about that life. So I played hard to get. Then eventually I realized, maybe I do like him. Yeah. So I kind of said yes. I said yes to the relationship, but I think at that time, the reason I don't think long distance was the reason we broke up is there were other factors at play. It's just that long distance made it easier to, what's the word? You know how you just sort of grow apart? So we got into a relationship and we talked a lot on the phone. So back then WhatsApp was not really a thing. So we did a lot of Facebook Messenger, we did a lot of Gmail chat, and then once in a while we spoke on the phone. I always felt like something was amiss. I don't know if you guys feel that way about long distance relationships, but I missed the idea of physical touch, and that's the physical experience. I really enjoy conversations, and I enjoy conversations when I can see the person face to face. So I always felt like there was something missing. But we went on and on and on, and I don't think we lasted more than 4 or 5 months. To be honest, yeah, we didn't. But like I said, there were other issues at play, which made the long distance even harder. Yeah, so typically you can do a long distance relationship if you've set your mind to being in a relationship, you've figured out how you're going to communicate, you have plans maybe to travel back and forth, you found like a rhythm, but because of all these other things, it was just like, this thing is not working. Yeah, there's just something like we are pushing and pulling. Yeah. There's a lot of strife, and somehow we just sort of went our separate friends. He's still a dear friend, I think.
He is? All right.
Okay, what I mean is...
Hi, Ben. Hello. Hi, Ben. Where are you?
Right.
How are you? Where are you? Are you okay? That's what I want to know.
What I mean is, we didn't end on a volatile note.
Okay.
Yeah, we just sort of gravitated apart. I don't know if that's the correct English. Yeah. But then eventually we had a conversation. I was like, okay, so this thing was never going to work. He moved on with somebody. He's married with 2 children. I'm also married and happy. But I don't hate him. Like, I'm not sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, this guy broke my heart. Yeah. So yeah, I was in a long distance relationship.
You know, whenever we speak about our relationships, I always remember a comment on Facebook where someone says, I like these conversations because Pumla always talks about someone she has dated, like her dating experiences. And it's not like I've dated many. It's just, sometimes it's the same person.
Just in different
but in different
locations.
episodes. They have the experiences. I can pull an experience about the same person.
Yeah.
But also I had like a good time of singleness.
You did.
And I was
you did.
exploring
Yeah.
and living my best life.
Okay.
So for this long distance, anyway, a long distance, I remember when I was on campus, a guy vibed me. I was in Africa Hall. A guy vibed me from Lumumba. I said, I'm sorry.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. That's too far. That's long distance. Really? No, yeah. My boundaries. The farthest was Mitchell Hall. Yeah, because for me, I liked that one of I walk you, escort me,
I escort you back.
escort me, I escort you back.
What's his problem? Not your.
No, I also wanted to participate in the
escorting.
escort me back. Yeah, so usually Livingston, Mitchell, you watch there. Remember, I said, what? Now I go, I climb.
You get.
Please assist you and your Mary Stewart. Stay in the same lane. Yeah, long distance. You guys could never be me. Like it just did not fathom in my mind for a long time. And this was for me from a while back, even when I was in school. Like there had to be a way of us to interact, to be around. Where did you live? Because even right now, I tell people and say, where I stop, I live in Namugongo. That road, Ginger Road, Kampala, that is the boundary. You tell me Buziga, everything dies. Luzira, Munyonyo, that's a completely different dynamic. Bukasa, what are we doing? What are we doing?
That is long distance.
It's long distance. So for me, I even know where my boundaries stop. Because you guys, that's the thing. I always feel like relationships on their own, they have so many things that you have to put in effort and navigate. So everything extra that is puts more distance in whatever, whether it's distance, whether it's time, whether it's resources, it just makes it harder. That has always been my thought process. But then I remember one time I found myself I had gone to Dar es Salaam for a workshop, for work. And while I was there, actually I was there for a week, 2 weeks, a week, it was a week. So while I was there, a close friend of mine said, oh, by the way, I have a friend of mine, a Ugandan, who lives in Dar es Salaam. And if you want to have a good time, you can go out. But now usually when I travel, it's my rest time. I don't want to go out, so I didn't even reach out to him. She sent me the number. I didn't reach out to him Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He sent me a message, I think on Thursday. I said, oh, hello, I'm so-and-so. Belinda gave me your number. I'd like to take you out if you're fine with that. I was like, you know what, it's okay. Okay, dinner. Oh, let's go. So we went out for dinner. And dinner turned into breakfast the next day. Breakfast turned into a weekend at the beach on the coast. Before I knew it, I was coming back and I'm no longer so single. As I left, and then the guy now kind of started trying to put in the effort. Dar es Salaam is just next door. So he would even send me, a ticket to go and visit. At that time, for me, I was just like, no, we're just in good time. And then he started to put in a little bit more effort. Then now feelings it out. Now when feelings enter, we all know. Now that becomes a battle between you and your God. Yeah, their head. Then I forgot about the long distance. I was like, but the times when, so I think the real problem with that relationship was that he was introverted. And because I'm extroverted and like Rachel, my physical touch is like right up there on my love language list. So in the time when we're not together, please remember he's introverted. So his communication is not as, like it's me who's always like forthcoming, talking, speaking, doing the work, doing the effort, because I just want to conversate. Like, I want to have a conversation with him. I want to talk. I want us to be in the thing together. But for him, it's like just like laid back and chilled and calm, just like I like them. You know? So I think that was where our struggle was. And then so every time but he would try to come back often, and I would maybe go and see him. But like maybe in the 3 weeks where I was not seeing him and not communicating as much as well as I wanted us to, by the time, let's say he was coming back on Saturday, I've already put out a plan of how to break up with a guy.
Are you serious?
By Friday, now I'm waiting for him to come back and do the respectful feeling of breaking up with him when we are together, not on the phone. But now I would get confused in the physical touch when he comes.
Now we are
back to square one. That went on, I think, twice, 3 times. Then now COVID, 2019 into 2020, when now the COVID and then the pressure of the locking us down was coming in, I had real aligned myself. I said, I'm done with this. This is not going to work. COVID is even here anyway. So now this is really going to be long distance. Let me really break up with that guy. Now that guy, he came and got locked down.
Oh wow, from here.
From here.
Yeah.
And he's never left.
Oh.
So dear children, that is the story of how I met my current partner. The day I was going to break up with him is the day we cemented our relationship. Because of COVID. As in COVID saved us. Yeah, because now lockdown came, now he was here. And he was able to get another working opportunity in the country. And we've stayed together. For me, I gave him a thing. If ever you feel you get another opportunity to go, let's have a conversation. Because chances are, it's a long distance, I cannot manage.
I have actually been in a long distance relationship. Of course, I've mentioned on the show before that the only serious relationship I've been in is the one with my husband. So we've been together 18 years now. However, in the early years of our dating, he traveled, I think 3 years. When we were younger, he decided to go and try the waters in the UK. You know, most of his brothers had left, so he's like, let me go and see what's up. So he decides to leave. And you know, in the early years, that's when the love is up there, steaming. So he goes, of course, it was dramatic. Oh my God, I'm going to miss you so much. How am I going to do this? And then communicating, I mean, video calls was not the thing. We would, maybe if you've gone to the internet store, we would go to the cafes. And that's the only time you do a video call, but it would precisely be just, you know, calling, and then airtime was expensive. I think WhatsApp hadn't even come in yet. So, oh my God, that was many years ago. However, he lives. So I was stuck in a long distance relationship. But yo, guys, for me it was very dramatic because communication, I think communication is what made it even more dramatic. Every time you call him, especially in the night, and he doesn't pick, there's no positive thing they are doing. You're always thinking there's something crazy going on. Your mind runs so fast. And the reverse is true. He would think exactly the same of me. He didn't want the first call, as in, why did you pick? Why did you pick? You're not even on the second missed call. Even that first call, what were you doing? Are you just no? It was that crazy. And it reminds me of a story of one of the guys that we lived with a while ago. When he traveled to work he went to Dubai. So he left his wife, but of course I think trust issues were not in play. So he bought her a turkey. He's like, when I call you, touch the turkey. It has to sound so that I'm sure you've not left home. That was toxic though. Oh my God. Go touch the turkey. I will put the turkey in my bag. You would move with the turkey, right? In the bush.
Oh, you record it. You record it and you just keep playing it. But anyway,
I don't think at that time. How long ago was this?
That was about 4 years ago.
4 years you could record.
Record this.
Right? We kept laughing about that story with my husband because we both knew him. Every time we said,
are they still together?
Touch that turkey, I have no clue.
I would like to know.
Find out for us.
Turkey might have saved the marriage.
Or not saved it.
Yeah. That was a crazy time of our relationship.
How long did that go on for?
He was there for a year.
Yeah,
he was there for a year. It was crazy. The emotions were high up there. How can I call you and you're not picking? What the hell are you doing?
Kwata kuse koko.
Yeah, so those were my dynamics. I prayed that he would return and start living here, and he did. Thank God he's not left again, so I don't have to suffer with kwata kuse koko. Period for me.
When I read the question, I was like, what relationship do I have? I've not had a long distance love relationship because we are here together.
With your husband.
Yeah. But I decided to flip and speak about the dynamics of a long distance relationship with your children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or family.
Or family for that matter.
Okay,
Until my children are my
They are
family.
your family, yes.
Yes, my children are my family. Yes, I have siblings who live abroad, but we do a lot of video calls and things like that. But with the children, I had to be very intentional about it because generally children my age, their phones are perpetually on silent. They never pick,
Like, what's with that?
They don't.
It makes
And
it
if
so
they
sick.
call you, if Asante calls and I don't pick, she will call Abdul, my driver, cycling at the store. I'm like, Asante, I'm like, but you can't be putting my business out there. She said, Mama, your business is my business. So if I call and you don't pick up, I'm thinking, have they kidnapped you? Have you? I'm like, thanks. But when it comes for children, they expect you to be able to pick. But when they don't pick, oh, maybe Mama was in a tutoring class or something like that. But because of Airtel, recently they gave me a SIM card with lots of data on it.
Airtel Wi-Fi.
It makes it easy.
So much easier. If anything, a reason to imagine. Imagine every Sunday after Bump Love, I get onto the phone with Mix first, Michael. We bank kabozi, he's jujitsu, he shows me everything. And then I get onto the call with Leo. We bank kabozi, he cooks his food. Then I get onto a call with Asante. We pick out my outfits for the whole week. She tells me like all her.
You're doing video calls.
Yeah, video calls.
No interruption at all.
No interruption. That's
love
really good
Airtel
because we
for
were doing it before, but now with this car thing they sent me from Airtel, I'm like, this is the way to go. So I will be on the phone on Sunday for like 7 hours. We even reached a point where nobody is talking, like I'm cooking, and they're just, and she's like, Mama, now show me the shoes. So of course the dynamics aren't the same as a love relationship, but we know that every Sunday I know that I can check in with them and know that we fill each other's cups for the week until the following week. Yes.
You know, that is I think one of the reasons that many parents sometimes are usually afraid to send their children abroad to school, to study, or even just to leave is because they worry about how present they can remain in their lives.
In the children's lives.
But if you're able to do the video call, because one the biggest component of the video call really is the data.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So if you're saying that the Airtel Xstream Wi-Fi is working, then that is an option to explore.
It really is because
I really love that before. Video calls would be really hard. Now because of that, you don't even feel like you're missing someone.
At all.
You'll see how fast they are becoming and tell them off.
That's where I was going.
I love that it gives you quality video calls.
I know, like last week Asante had, this ring here?
Yeah.
Oh, she did?
She got her nose pierced. Oh no, she must look really nice.
That thing you look like her.
That thing is so sexy.
Certain faces. And
So we were there and I was talking to her because usually on Sunday I also try to engage the judges. And the phone call is one thing, but when my mom learned Skype, she doesn't want to. So she's there looking. So we switch on and Asante has this thing. You should have seen I was like, oh shit, Asante has done it. Of course, she explained it was just a clip-on and everything, but you see, it also helps because I saw the photos on the school link and I saw it. But now because we're able to communicate, we're able to discuss before it becomes a full-blown problem. So, Airtel, Xstream Wi-Fi, a reason to imagine.
For sure.
So, Kezia, do tell us your story. What led to your living in separate spaces?
Oh, I love when you put it separate spaces.
Spaces.
Because
The other
right?
yeah. It's not very distant.
But I guess for me it was meant to be like that. Because I've always liked to not be exactly in the same space with people. Yeah, like I'm those babes who, if we had a big house, it's okay. Like, man, we can meet when we meet, can bump in the corridor, what's up. Yeah, like, there are times you just have to, like, please don't touch me, please, you know? Yeah, so when I started dating my husband, he had a job here, but he's out of the country, then so it was always, I also see him once a week like everybody else, so. Yeah, so the fact that during the dating that was okay for me, when the opportunity came for him to actually be away for longer, I was kawa.
You were ready.
Yeah, I was ready. And I think one other thing that helped with the transition though is that like a month to him leaving, I discovered I was pregnant with our second child. And I don't know if the myths are true, but that pregnancy disliked this man.
Is it?
In every sense of the word.
Yeah. Girl?
It was a boy.
It was a boy.
I hated how he smelled. I hated his cologne. I hated him breathing. I hated him sweating.
Oh, what?
Let me tell you the funniest thing, you guys. When we said bye at the airport, as in his back turned and our backs turned, me and my daughter, I swear the morning sickness went.
Are you serious?
Never again. I was fine the entire, like it lifted.
That is crazy.
So what's the myth? You
I don't know. People
alluded
say
to?
there's a myth over there are pregnancies that
but don't
repel that dads over
I've
what.
heard of them, but what is the reason? I thought we were coming down to what must have been something.
Some people say it's girl pregnancy, some people say it's boy pregnancy. So I really
I think
don't
it's a
even know.
hormonal thing that just happens. Your
Yeah.
hormones just flip. They are like, dear, I loved you when we
Yeah.
were making that baby. Now,
Now,
little
sit
sit
up.
up.
Yeah, the story.
Such betrayers.
Though I hear more,
Right?
I hear more of the other side where the man even has to leave a t-shirt behind.
smell
that
that
you sniff.
That was with my girl pregnancy.
Oh,
I wanted him to live inside me.
Oh Lord.
If you could tuck him in your blouse.
Don't get out.
Okay, yes, go on with this story of this long distance.
We are eager.
I need to
Yeah.
understand.
So when he left, at first the plan was after a few months, maybe when I have the baby, we're going to live together. We're going to move and live together.
Okay.
Now, in that period, I am pregnant, and then, man, this sounds bad, but it has to be said. Yeah. There was a way that when I was like with my husband, I had like comfort of, I never thought of getting out of my comfort zone. I was a stay-at-home mom. I never even used to go to the market. When I'm getting princess life, yeah. Passenger princess, I don't drive, I don't go to the market, I don't do anything.
Things for you.
Yeah.
Queen had arrived.
Then, after lockdown made it worse because you know lockdown you had to walk long distances, so they would never let you walk. Yeah. Then when he left, I now felt like I found myself. Like now I am a person. Yes.
Okay.
It's not like those things made me uncomfortable, but now I realize that I can actually be an adult. Yes. And then during that time, I then became a content creator. And it was nice. I discovered people can create content. People can be celebrities on the ground. So during that time, also because pregnancy, I really didn't miss him. Let me be honest, I didn't miss him. I think also another thing that sort of made me not think about moving was the fact that my love language is nowhere physical.
Okay.
Yeah, those people.
Okay.
It's nowhere physical. It's nowhere words of affirmation.
Okay.
Yeah, I am acts of service and gifts. Give me money. You will have solved every single problem that we have. Yes. So
Let
for
the
me,
man go work and make
yeah,
that
when I'd be
money.
there and be like, babe, I miss you, it made. Either he would be like, but today I'm not well.
That would be the response.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so during that time I found myself, I started to do content creation, then I had the baby.
And then also dynamics changed for him. He was done with school and then went into working. And so we were like, okay, now we're a young couple. Now we have 2 kids. What's the plan? So we started thinking of living arrangements. And it so happened that if we moved, which was a great thing, we would spend more and never have anything here. So we had to weigh and be like, okay, so if we are to move, because I also have plans to like study more, he has plans to study more. Like if we're to move, let's first do something here so we have like a fallback plan and then we can move. But then also there were other dynamics like that, children, like raising children abroad. Some of us have fragile hearts. We can't handle because you can't shout at me, you can't shout back at me and I do not resound you like a normal African parent. So yeah, there were those dynamics. So you start thinking of things and it's really, you're trying to look out for what's best for all of you.
So I really like that.
So we are 3 years strong.
I'm not taking my kids outside countries because I've got to shout at them. And I'm not allowed to do that there. No one is going. No people will even support me.
It's just a village to raise a child.
Shout at them for me. I love that.
I mean, from what you've said, it sounds like you guys have had several conversations about the way you are going to manage your long-distance marriage. And I'm curious to know what has been the hardest thing about being in a long-distance marriage. Because, well, I guess marriage works easier in proximity. And so this is the path that you've decided. So what has been the hardest thing or things about being in a long-distance marriage?
One, I am a baby girl for life. I hate to suffer. I want to suffer on my terms. So when it comes to doing things, there was a time I was stepping out of the house and I realized my tire was flat. I sat on that steering wheel and cried.
And wailed.
Because why is it me? Why?
Why am I suffering?
Why am I looking at neighbors' husbands to come help me?
know?
Like,
I know. Where is he when I need him?
where is this man? Because nothing at that point, Kale, that 200K can help, but at that point, I need the physical help. Yes. So there are things that I really hate running around for. I hate running around for
I hear you.
things. And then also I hate driving. Like I keep telling myself, I want to be able to afford a driver. Like, okay, when I think of the money I'll be paying the driver, that money can be doing my makeup, what? So I'm overthinking, but truthfully, I hate driving. So also that man swore on our wedding day to help me through the storms of life, and driving in Kampala is a storm of life. Right? Where is he when I need him?
It really is.
Where is he?
Yeah.
So those are some of the most difficult.
And then also, after postpartum, what? I think now horn started. Of now you're like, I'm not a physical person, but
Not weathering those moments.
ovulation, the monster within.
Right?
Sex is important.
It really is.
It is.
And how were you able to navigate that?
Yes.
I'm telling you, pray and pray and pray until you can pray no more. Anyway, there's a lot of things that take that burden off. One, most of the time you're actually always busy.
Yes.
You're busy with yourself, with the kids, so you don't really have time to sit and dwell on it. And then you're also having these conversations like, man, your struggles are my struggles. Like, what's the plan? So I won't even say it has been that issue that makes me, let me buy a ticket now and go. No. Like, it's there, but you brush it off, and move on.
Have you tried phone sex, especially with great
That's what I wanted
internet?
to ask as well.
We've not tried phone sex, but we've done Koda. Someone has my phone. I really don't want them to go through it, but and you try to keep it alive there.
With no buffering or anything like that.
Wow.
You know, you're in between, hey babe.
That's where that the Airtel Xstream Wifi.
Wi-Fi comes in. Yes.
Interesting. So, but do you see each other often? Like, okay, so do you travel back and forth?
We've never, actually, we've never.
Oh.
It's coming to 3 years.
What?
Yeah, we've never. And I get a lot of judgment for it when I say it.
Yeah.
Like people are like, you know, men can't live without sex. Or
That's none of your business. You just
But you know,
be
yeah,
in
I'm
your
always telling
love.
people, you know what?
Yeah.
Like the marriage is mine. Like I don't know how that's your headache.
Yes,
But also some of us, I think, okay, when I was dating, people are going to bash me for this, but okay.
No, on that love, dear. Now, Joy, you see, yeah? That difference, let me explain for you. The difference between your audiences and viewers of other podcasts and Bump Love. Yours are here, Bump Lovers are here. There is no judgment, there is no bashing. If you see an individual trying to find their way to say something negative, someone we don't even have to do the work. That's another real Bump Lover. It means that one has come that day. Uniform. Our fellow Bump Lovers now dress them. When they come back in the next episode, they are in line. There is no bashing. You just say, you speak your mind, you be authentic, and people will resonate with you. People bash you, yet they are living the exact same life.
That's very true.
The same people who bash you.
That's very
and
true.
yet what you're saying is going to impact so many other people who fear to say the same thing, but want to. So go, madam, just
do your thing.
Do you? Yes. I've given you back the mic. Take it away.
Yeah, so when I was still dating, one of like my non-negotiables was I can't be with a man who's disloyal, who's cheating or whatever. When I got married, let me tell you, I'd be looking at how far I've come with this man to consider him. You know, there's that whole thing of, Kara, he has gone with another babe. Me, I've left this marriage.
Yeah.
There's nobody I'm giving my marriage to. Nobody. Yeah.
If you walked her journey, honestly.
Yeah. So sometimes people will try to like implant those trust issues in you, like, I take her to, you know how like time zones be, like when you call someone and they don't pick, you're hoping that the worst that should have happened is an accident. Don't tell me you just didn't hear the phone.
It has to be something grave.
Yes. So at the beginning, I think I sort of had those with trust issues. Yeah. But then again, like sometimes you just have to really, really speak to yourself. And let me give you like a story, like a background story. There's a relative that passed on. He had this wife who was young by the time he passed on. And he had this wife. These guys used to work on the same building on Workers' House. They would go to work together. They have lunch together. They pick their kids together. They were involved in church and they used to like serve together. If you see that guy, just look a bit, you'll see that babe. You guys, the guy passes on. A chick came.
With how many children?
The couple had 3 kids. This chick had 3 kids.
Oh dear.
Oh, yes.
And it was in that bracket of, you have a 4-year-old, this one has a 3-year-old. You have a 2-year-old, this one. And everybody kept asking,
When did he find that time?
He find that time. He was always with his woman.
That's the soundtrack to this story.
But those are very common stories.
Yeah.
Very, very
No, but you actually ask yourself, when do maybe you were during office
Especially
hours.
those men who come back at 5.
Neither usually they are the ones who shock you. At lunch break they are together. They work on the same building. They go home together.
They pick kids together.
Over night time when she's sleeping.
Anyway, but how long does it take to plant a seed?
But to have a relationship, to be
And I
able
think
to
what Joy
plant
is
3
trying to
seeds.
bring out is that it is not about what society
Proximity
says.
or-
It is you, it is the person.
Yes.
It is the man, it is the woman.
Very
So
true.
whether the person is living in the same bed as you, showering with you, working in the same place as you, if it is them who is like that, they've decided to do it, they will. And someone can be miles and miles away, oceans and seas and nothing, and stay faithful.
That's so true. That's
It's a
so
personality
true.
type of
That's so
person.
true. That's so
I want
true.
it.
Yeah, so when I like used to think about that story, I'd be like, but if you see Paul sleep in the same bed, nga,
How much more me?
Yeah, the potholes in Kampala are really potholing, but so are Kampala men. So I'm like, this one who has become a Los Angeles man.
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah. So anyway, I would just keep telling myself that. But also, we have that kind of communication of, my husband is an introvert, but he's extroverted with me. He has 4 friends, and I am one of his 4 friends. So if he's missing, you call one of us. Yes. Yeah. So when it comes to me, you'll find that like you'll literally be on the phone 24/7, except it's like, give me like 2 hours, I does go. Yeah, that kind of thing, like, yeah. But you'll be on the phone throughout the day, throughout the night. You're sharing memes, you're sharing TikTok videos, this, that. So, so we are friends at the level of, we even talk about like our crushes of, man, I found some girl's Instagram page, Shomiko. Then, we'll dissect.
That's a nice relationship.
We really try to have the kind of open relationship such that these things are not mysteries. Like for instance, I remember someone said something and they said, if you walk in the house naked every day, when this person sees naked people, it's no longer mysterious. It's a normal thing. Yes. So if we try our best to really, really be friends and be like open about our feelings, like how do you feel today for real? Like today is bad. Today is bad. You're bad.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the parenting dynamic. If you don't mind sharing, how old are your children?
I have 4 and 2.
4 and 2 years. So your husband left when
I was pregnant
with the second. So he's never physically met the second born.
No.
Okay. So how does a long distance marriage affect the parenting dynamic, and what's the difference between the 2 ages? And maybe speak also about the one he's never even met.
Okay, so with his daughter, they were tight because it was like lockdown. She was born before lockdown, so they spent a lot of time during lockdown and everything. That when he left, I think she couldn't process it. She was like 1.5, but the first night, the second night, then I think she wondered. It was confusing. She started walking around the house, checking under the bed, checking in the, and you wouldn't know what she's looking for. She's just everywhere. And then, he would call, but the first 2 times that he called, the first 2 days he was in transit. So when he settled down and actually called, I let her, try to speak to him, and she cried. She cried. And she had really few words, so she just kept saying, Dada, Dada. And so I was like, no, Daddy just went to the supermarket, he'll be back. Yeah, so I would send him voice notes of her crying, and he's like, please stop, don't do this to me. And then she went through a phase of, I think it was a coping mechanism for her. She hated him. She didn't want to see his pictures. She didn't want to talk to him. She went through, and that phase lasted for like a year.
Oh, wow.
She didn't quite get why this person left.
You've been going to the supermarket for a year.
Yeah. So it was just recently, maybe like 6 months ago, that now she got back in, speaking to him, and they'll speak on the phone for minutes, and she'll show him like, this is my new dress, this is that. But then another time, like I think a month ago, she came, I was like shooting a YouTube video, then I finished and she came to me and she said, she just sat randomly and said, but mommy, why did Daddy leave us alone?
Oh. Okay.
That's heavy.
Yeah, literally.
That's heavy. But I think for a child to be able to ask that question directly, it means you've created an enabling environment for them to freely express themselves. And even if the question itself might hurt you, the circumstances surrounding the question should make you feel like you're doing something right. I'm curious, what did you say?
So I said, Daddy is away for a while, but the beauty is that you see him on the phone. Don't you see him on the phone? Like, yes. So it was coming to her birthday. I'm like, Daddy's going to send a unicorn cake. You're going to do Rapunzel hair. Daddy is away so he can be able to afford those things for us. And then she's like, oh, so will he buy me a car? I'm like, yes. Will he do this for me? Yes. Yeah, and then she just tittered back into her space.
They're such resilient beings.
Yeah.
2-year-old isn't asking any questions. They don't talk. Do they talk? These days,
They
do 2-year-olds these days talk?
Oh, yes, they do. What, anything changed?
Yeah, they do.
My son comprehends things faster than my daughter. Like his vocabulary is this wide. But now I think for him he doesn't understand the concept of in a home there can be a mother and a father.
No, he doesn't get that.
I think he's like, like I don't know. Yeah, I was born with a mom and this is all that I know. But he knows that there's a dad, but I think he thinks that man is a man who talks to us, but he's not supposed to live here. Yeah. But for my husband, like, you will see of Bambi. Like, I've not met my son. Like, you see him in his feelings, but he'll be calm.
He will be. Is it for you, like the way you've expressed your challenges, do you feel like that's one of his bigger ones? When it comes to the children and not being present?
I feel like if you had to choose between me and the kids, he would choose
the kids.
Shout out, babe.
Shout out, babe. I met somebody recently who's parenting his children. The father is here and the mom is with the children, and sometimes the mom calls the dad and says, as in for discipline purposes, like, okay, wait, and they're in different time zones, so she'll tell the child, okay, at 10 p.m. we're going to call your father, and he'll have a conversation with you. Is there a discipline dynamic there, or everything's just you?
My kids haven't really gotten to the level where they don't listen. I'll be honest. They listen, but one thing that we started doing recently was doing their bedtime together. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because when it's our bedtime, like 9, he's on his lunch break. So they have the conversations about how that day has been, what are you doing, and then, any of them will lead in the prayer, and he'll just talk to them, affirm them, and then they go to bed. So, but with discipline, we don't involve him because we figure it out.
Instant.
I love that.
But we miss that daddy voice. Go to bed.
I know.
Yeah.
Very interesting dynamic.
That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Joy. I'm just trying to think about if I could manage a long distance relationship.
You can. Do you know the freedom you'll have? Single now you're from preparing Sunday breakfast.
The freedom.
I think it's a personality type.
It is, especially if you don't have that love language, it's easy for you. I think it's well for many people and well for others, depending on your temperament and your...
But I think the space, now that you mention it, if we just dial back a little bit, I was thinking over the years, we had that type of relationship where he was working either up country or I'm going to school for long periods of time. But one thing my friends always used to say, because me, I love things I like. Yes, I like. But they'd always say, man, when you see Oji and Angie together, it's like they just fell in love. And they would equate it to the fact that we weren't always together. I had a friend of mine, her husband would be home every day at 5. She's like, I can't even get a chance to miss him. He's always in my space. So like when I would go to school, I'd come back on the weekend. But the weekend, you start at a higher gear. So as she was speaking, I was like, okay, I kind of understand where you're coming from. The space is good.
Yeah. The space is great. Like, I love space, but not indefinitely.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've always thought about marriage as, can we live in separate houses?
Yes.
May we please live in separate houses? As long as you don't pass the Ginger Highway,
we had
Kampala Road. As long as we're on the same side of town, where I can see you in 5 minutes, there's no traffic. Can we live separately, but be married and raise children like that?
Yes.
But not indefinitely. Like me, the part I'm struggling with is the indefinite part.
Like when is this
when is it ending?
When is it ending?
When is
you
it
ever
ending?
think about that?
Yeah, we have like a time frame.
Oh, you have a time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Like
That
a goal
was
you're
like
working
discussed
towards.
from the beginning. Like, this is the time frame.
personally, I think with that kind of space, even relationships would last a little bit longer.
That's right, because I have a cousin who tells
Someone
me,
is in your face.
she keeps telling me, guys, I can't date a guy I'm going to be with on a daily. So her husband is a safari, he will often leave, and she loves it. She's like, I don't know how you guys handle every day.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Let me tell
my
you, the
space.
first year of my marriage, Bananga, we used to quarrel.
Oh,
It was like, yeah, he would be away sometimes, but for some reason, you always have things to argue about. You always have things to quarrel about. You're always fighting. And now, in this like 2.5 years,
Your marriage is
like,
thriving.
yeah, that would fights are like I could drop in the ocean like once in 6 months. You're like, let's just quarrel so that
Yeah, the body knows that we are here.
the makeup quote unquote virtual
So ladies, do you have tips on how one can develop and sustain a long distance relationship? Since you all have been in there and you
I'll go first. If you know you're the jealous type,
Don't
right?
You can also work on your heart.
if you know you're the jealous type, if you know that you're a person who needs constant affirmation, if you know that you can't have phone sex, if you know you can't be creative enough to find ways to communicate at a long distance, just chill that cup of fumbo and get the nigga who you can follow around with.
Who you can see on a daily.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's really good
that's
advice.
facts.
Yeah,
That's
that's really good advice. But you can also choose to grow and not just be in that jealous space. Growth is also an option. You can choose that. It's an opportunity for you to grow. Yeah, it's an opportunity for you to grow. It's hard. Yes, it's hard, but yeah, you can't. If you want to overcome it, this is your opportunity, and hopefully your partner is as understanding and patient.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I was going to say, and really my advice is hinged on a lot of the things that you've shared. I think for me, having a goal in mind is very key. Yeah. If you are having a relationship based on it being indefinite, like, oh, we are in this thing, but we don't know where we are seeing where it goes. You can only see where it goes when you're in the same, when you're in proximity to each other. I think it's easier to see where it goes, even though that is also not very healthy. So I think for me, having a goal in mind, like, okay, we're going to do this maybe for a year, or we're going to do this for 5 years, or we're going to do this for 10 years, and this is what we are going to be doing in these years. This is how we are going to keep the spark alive. And oh my gosh, I cannot overemphasize being able to communicate. So again, I'll use Angie's approach. If your person is not the kind of person who can get into conversation and dissect things, I think that you might need to think twice. Because if you're not able to, it's the only thing that is sustaining you. You're not seeing this person, you can't read their mood, you only have their words to go by. And so if they are the sort of person who, I just don't like talking. There's going to be a lot of things that are unsaid, that are misinterpreted, misunderstood. So I would say those are two things that you need to be able to fix if you want
communication.
Yeah, communication cannot be understated.
And the communication, if you add the sekoko as well. Because you could be communicating.
That's a bit toxic.
Let's get the turkey out.
Mine would be prayer. Pray for your partner, because that's the only thing that can sustain them. And if you're one who jumps into conclusions all the time, don't. Work on your trust issues. This is your time to introspect. Think about what you love. Do it. So you don't have to miss your partner all the time. I love where she said she started content creating, and that, the feelings and the too much missing is fading away. So find yourself. Maybe God wants you to find yourself, because He created you to also be someone, not just a wife. Many times those spaces or things happen for a godly reason. Like there's something that needs to happen when you're out. Many times you're stuck on this one, you don't know what else to do. No, you have a life. So find yourself and you'll be fine. She will give us, she is the PhD. PhD in long distance relationship.
All masters and PhD. Okay, so for me, at I think what I would tell, let's say, like, if a couple is trying to start out, like, do we do this thing, do we not do it? One, know who you are as Banange, as people.
As a person.
Me, I'm a sanguine. Like, I'll literally thrive anywhere and under any circumstance. You might be a melancholy. You overthink things. Anything small you want to like build on it until next year. You need to know yourself. You need to know your partner. It might be hard for you guys to thrive. Then you need to know your goals, your family goals. Me, I don't want to be poor. I don't like when I think about poverty.
You have represented Manuela very well.
Manuela is my soul sister in that area. I don't like to be poor. So actually something I used to say a lot when we were dating, it was like a joke, but Bambi, I think he really took it seriously. I kept saying things like, I never want us to be like renting by the time I'm 35. Yeah. So, you know, like, and we are sort of like the same age, like 2 years older than me. So, he sees it now. If I am staying in this country and we are going to beat this timeline, it will not work. So, you need to, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Now, what's the opportunity cost? To be in bed and cuddle or to have a house? Think about it. Yeah. Sometimes it's not easy to let the person go, but what's the plan? You have children, they need to go to school. Those would jobs be contract jobs sometimes, and you're not even sure. Then you're a stay-at-home mom. Content creation is also a blow kind of thing. Like, it blows this month, then like you cannot be in a situation where you're uncertain. Yeah, so you need to think about the future, not just the whole let's cuddle and be together. And then, of course, another thing is, like Rosette said, you need to be very prayerful. God sort of directs your heart in a place where you're able to cope with whatever circumstance.
Yeah, I agree.
For instance, I can't monitor my husband. I be telling people, I don't check men's phones. But if he was, like, even if I wanted to right now, I cannot.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know what's going on with him, but God does. And he has my back. God has my back. My husband might not have my back, but God does. I might not have my husband's back, but God does. So God, really, really praying puts everything in a better perspective. Again, like she said, find yourself. There's a lot more you were created for than being a wife. There's a lot more you were created for than just giving sex and cooking nice meals. You're a lot better.
I just want people now to log off at this point. Now they are triggered. Now they are triggered.
That is our aesthetic.
I want to think being wifing is what they were made for. Now they've logged off.
We have picked the aesthetic from the Gazaland women as they're passing by with their things. We're like, because we think that is what is going to keep us in. But find yourself, because one thing that I learned looking at older couples, by the way, my relationship counselor as well.
Oh yes, she is.
So one thing that I've seen with older couples is that you get to a point where your kids are now grown. The man has been finding himself, by the way, when you get married, he continues on with his job. You have kids, he keeps on with his job. You annoy him, he talks to his work wife. For you, you're stuck.
Like a work wife.
So you work wives. We are the work wives. We are there. We are there. And then we are not doing anything. We are just eating the breakfast that you prepare. Just conversating with them when you're there, not finding yourself.
Or you. So at the end of the day, you reach a point where you're stuck. Your kids are out of the nest. Actually, they don't mind you anymore. They have their boyfriends, but they're not on you.
They're not on you.
Then you're just there, depressed, old and alone. But if you had hung out more with your friends, if you had you had a better life with yourself, you've built relationships, which many of us, by the way, in proximal relationships don't do. We think our husbands are our best friends. When they are going to the bar with their friends, we go with you.
What's that? Like,
we go with you.
right?
Someone said, I've gone out to have a good time. You're calling them at midnight. Kati, what time are you coming back? Friend, if he said he's going out to have a good time, let him have the good time.
Should I put their food back in the fridge?
Someone is shaking their head.
Or I leave it in the microwave. How can you still be having those conversations?
Eat outside. Where you've gone, eat outside.
Should I cover the food? Do I put it in the microwave? Do I pack it and put it in the fridge? Do I stay up and wait? Your daughter is here, she's crying, she misses you. How can you still be having those conversations?
That is Yeah, but it's also nice to be lovey-dovey and be in that space. But also, let you be individuals. You're married, good, but be yourselves.
I
love that.
Be me.
Yeah.
Because now my children are grown.
Living
If
the life.
Exactly.
There you go.
If I had zero down and it was just all children, no, okay, they're also children, but I am living my best life, to be honest.
And I will tell you briefly, someone just sent me a message the other day and told me that in Butabika, they found that many women whose children have grown are the ones that visit because the depression is too much, exactly what you said. They didn't make friends, their husbands are living there. Now, the reality has come through. Nothing makes sense anymore. Their kids have gone away. They call them, they don't pick because they are gonna men and women. So
Lastly, communicate.
yeah,
Communicate about
Very key.
everything, however small, however big. Sometimes when we have tough conversations, we're like, okay, this one is not for that. Let us video call. I want to see your reaction to what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
If you're mad, I want to know, because someone can text and be like, it's kawa, but
Is it kawaii?
is it? Recently, I went on a girls' trip, and while we were out, I told my husband we are going to the bar tonight. So while we were out, I was gossiping about a couple that was like seated on the next table. So I was even lucky taking pictures. So we were like talking. So the girls ask me, "Are you on your phone full time?" I'm like, I'm giving my husband the gist. He knows I went to the bar. I want him to know I am still in the bar. This is what we are doing.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't hear, Ati, we suckle your wife in ginger. Guy, he doesn't know anything. Yeah, like let him know, even if he says, Ati, don't go, I will go, but you will know that I went. Yeah.
That's lovely.
So communicate, like be so straightforward in every communication. Like any tiny thing. I don't know how to emphasize this. Any tiny thing, be it your sexual feelings.
Kale, that one, even people who are not in a long distance relationship, it's still a problem. So it goes to all of us. The communication, you get.
Yes, especially when I get sexual feelings. Please communicate those things. Like people change over time sexually.
Yeah.
You'll find someone who wasn't seeing the other something as a fantasy. They overnight they grow that fantasy. If you're not communicating it,
You won't
you're
know.
confused. Yeah. So
Pretty brainy wifey. I love that. And I love that you're thriving in your long distance relationship. If you're in one, do share with us how you're navigating that. If you're planning to enter a long distance relationship, the tips have been shared. I love Airtel because it's helping us thrive here. Yeah, you won't miss your guy. You can video call. It's not blurry anymore. The Wi-Fi is top notch. Thank you, and that's it from us with love from Bamplab.
Bamplab was brought to you by
Unlimited internet at unbeatable prices. Dial *125# to activate your monthly unlimited internet. Airtel, a reason to imagine.